welcome to yet another episode of Beyond Windows. It took me a while to get our new guest today on the show, just for the simple reason because of his simplicity and humbleness. He was unsure whether he should be here, whether he belongs here or not. Well, there is no doubt about the contribution he has made in our industry. I'd like to welcome Mr. T. Chandra Sekhar, Director Technicals, Aparna Enterprises. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Karan.
So you're born in Andhra and raised in Hyderabad. Is Hyderabad something very special for you? Is it something which is very close to your heart?
Yeah, I spent more than 60 years in Hyderabad, so obviously it's part of my heart.
It seems you always wanted to stay in Hyderabad. You didn't want it to leave Hyderabad. Will it be right to say that you were too scared to venture outside Hyderabad?
Not really. Right from childhood, I always wanted to be with my parents. So I wanted to be in Hyderabad because I can't move them out of Hyderabad.
Right.
So I thought I should be in Hyderabad so that I can spend my time with them.
Is that the reason why you didn't take the government job that you got it, because it was not in Hyderabad?
Yeah, that's right. There were a couple of government jobs after I graduated. And I wanted to be in Hyderabad, so I searched for a private job and I got it in Hyderabad.
Right. So I also understand that your father was into government service. So you never thought of following him and following into his footsteps?
No, the earlier generation was a very conservative generation. They were always looking for a government job.
Right.
So my generation has changed a little from them. So I thought it's not necessary to be, too conservative and look only for a government job.
So what I also understand is that you got through IIT Bombay. You went there and you decided to leave that also. Was it because you thought that place was not good enough for you?
No, I didn't like the city. I didn't like the rush. I was there in 1979. I joined for my MTech. I was there for a couple of months, but somehow it didn't go well with me. I didn't like the way the city was running always.
So it seems it was impossible to take Hyderabad out of you. That's why the comparison happened with Hyderabad. Well, a dream place where we all would have gone happily without a doubt. But it seems you chose to come back to Hyderabad. Did you manage to finish your education in Hyderabad itself in that case?
Yes, I did my engineering in Hyderabad. Incidentally, I have to tell you, when I was in a ceramic tile company during the middle of 1890, one guy offered me a job in Germany. He was an engineer from Germany. He worked in our factory. He said, I'll take you along with me and you'll be in our company. But I didn't go.
Well, I haven't seen anyone so holding on to his city so much as the way probably you are right now, and even till date, it seems. And it seems Aparna wasn't the first job also for you. You had previous things with other companies as well. If you can just briefly touch upon that part also for everyone.
I started with Nagarjuna, which is a cold rolled steel manufacturer, and I worked about 5 years there. After that, I joined ceramic tiles company. I nearly spent about 10 to 12 years in a couple of ceramic companies. After that, I came into Aparna. In Aparna, I'm working for the last 15 years.
That's amazing. So it seems you've been a completely hardcore manufacturing guy. That probably will be the right way to address you. You before Aparna, you also tried your hands at entrepreneurship as well. How did that go for you?
I tried being an entrepreneur along with a couple of my friends. And we tried, we made a lot of effort, and we spent a lot of time, but it didn't work. So then I think I realized maybe I'm not cut out to be an entrepreneur. That made me realize my strengths and my weaknesses also. So I thought, I think I'm more suited to be working in a factory. So that's how I got into Aparna.
I'm glad you mentioned it because somewhere what it tells is that it's not necessary that a great mind, a great person may also be a great entrepreneur at the same time. And we all have our own strengths and weaknesses. And probably that's something which all the viewers can also probably learn a lot from out there. Um, but what I also understand, sir, is that your joining of Aparna also has an interesting story to it. The best we know you as the Aparna guy, that also has some interesting story there. So if you can just share a little bit about that part.
Actually, when I was working in a different company, Mr. Reddy, who is the chairman of Aparna Group, called me to work with him. So, though I don't have any prior exposure to building construction, I came and joined this company as director of materials and quality assurance. And after joining here, I found that the building material supplies were erratic, and with the quality, there were quality issues and a lot of fluctuation in prices. So I suggested to Mr. Reddy that we should start doing some backward integration. And he is a very, very dynamic person, and he said, if you are confident, go ahead and do it. He supports any idea. So that's how we started off with a ready mix concrete plant. That's been the first backward integration of Aparna Enterprises. We started with one ready mix plant, and today we have 18 or 19 plants working in different places. And with a fleet of more than 300 transit mixers, it's like running a large transport company, transporting nearly 2.5 lakh tons of concrete every month.
Those are big numbers, I must say that, and probably it seems that's how the manufacturing started for the group itself. And it seems you've been responsible for adding more and more verticals with time. But I want to understand what's been the thought process. Is this the real reason? Because it makes me wonder, the logic has been to why let anyone else make the money, and why not we make all the money ourselves? I mean, look at various verticals in which you have got into. Learn the trade, get better at it, and start manufacturing. Is that how the simple policy has been followed?
No, it's not like that. It's not money. See, in construction, you can always make good money. It's not necessary that you have to get into manufacturing and do a lot of hard work. The basic reason why we went into this backward integration is there's a lot of convenience. There are no delays, there are no quality issues, there are no large fluctuations in price, there's consistency in quality. So these are the issues. Money can be made even in construction. You don't have to, put yourself through such a hard work and then do all these projects. Basically, it is a great convenience and quality assurance. That's been the main reason we went into backward integration. Well, pardon me, one after the other. We after doing RMC, we have done UPVC windows. After doing UPVC windows, we went into metal sections that are used inside the window. We have our own roll forming mills. After that, we went into the extrusion, PVC profile extrusion. And this completed one cycle, and then we went into manufacture of tiles. And the latest addition for us is Aluminium windows. We will be shortly concluding an export order, one from Australia and the other from Philippines, for aluminium windows and facades. And we also operate crushers, stone crushers in Hyderabad and Visakhapatnam. And we have a mineral processing plant in Kakinada. In fact, two mineral processing plants. One is for feldspar, the other one is for clay. So it's very interesting to work with different technologies. Each unit has a different technology.
I'm sure each has its own pros and cons, but what most of the people keep saying is, and trying to understand also, is the fact that because what you just mentioned about different verticals and very different in a lot of ways also. Um, Everyone keeps talking about the fact that it's because TCS sir happens to be a restless guy and he needs to keep himself busy, and that's how the keep new integration and the new addition to the vertical keeps happening because of his restlessness. Will you admit to it being true?
It is more because of my company. My company, the culture itself is like that. My boss is like that. He constantly wants to do something different, something bigger. That's how we are entering into pharma space. Very, very soon we will be Aparna Pharmaceuticals. I think it'll take maybe another 5-6 months before we get into this. So this is one unrelated diversification first time we have taken up, other than building products.
Well, and there could be no better person than you heading it from the front. And it just makes me go back to what you just said earlier today. It's definitely not about convenience. I can easily make that out now. So it's definitely about you and you keeping yourself busy and trying and adding more things as you go along. So just want to understand, even in your head, because construction building material also has so many various aspects to it. How do you still decide on various verticals? Where do you feel you need to put your money on and then get into the manufacturing and start getting into the backward integration? How do you take a call on those aspects at the same time?
See, the bulk materials that go into building, we have covered concrete, we have covered tiles, we have covered windows. In fact, we have one unit in Aparna Construction which makes the doors, wooden doors. So all the major items are covered. The minor ones are the sanitary ware, which is again supplied from our own trading company. We represent many European brands. These are all the high-range products which we import from Europe. So most of it is covered, and the minor ones maybe we can ignore because volumes are not big. It does not justify setting up a plant for them. But wherever the volumes are justified, we started manufacturing all of them. And while we use about 10% of whatever we produce, the rest of 90% is sold to other builders, not only in Hyderabad, even in other cities. So that's how we planned. That is how we have grown. We started a 1,000 window unit. In the first month, I think we made around 1,000 windows, or maybe a little lower. Today, we produce 13,000 windows in UPEC every month.
Well, it's phenomenal in terms of the numbers, and if one keeps thinking about that, it'll be quite exhausting by the end of it. So that makes me wonder, and that makes me ask you this obvious question, because taking care of all the technicals, taking care of all these verticals, how do you manage in terms of the time? Do you have different dates for different verticals? How do you keep a track of all these various aspects at the same time and being on top of the game?
Actually, I have a lot of time. The reason is there are competent people who are handling all these units. So you don't need to follow up on a daily basis. Most of these guys are all experienced in their respective fields. They handle. You don't have to really, struggle, chase every day. I think, in my opinion, if an organization has to run well, if you place the right person, I think the job is done.
I have personally experienced when you keep pushing the targets for your factory people, and they take personal pride in achieving them. And at times, to me personally, they seem a little unreasonable, but they take a lot of pride and they believe in your story. And that's probably the best part which can happen when it's coming from the top, and they're believing in your story. And probably you're doing a fab job there in motivating all the younger people out there and motivating all the supply chain people at the same time.
Even my colleagues and the engineers, they will also get a sense of satisfaction when they do something beyond their capacity and achieve it. If we are capable of producing 10 units, and if we try to get in the 11th one, that gives a lot of satisfaction even to the people who work in our factory.
Well, the job is done, and the job is getting done in Aparna because the right person is heading from the top and leading from the front, probably. But that also makes me wonder and ask you, are you a tough guy? Because to get such massive jobs done from people is also a task. Will it be right to say you're a tough taskmaster?
I don't say. I'm very soft with my people. And when they're doing their job reasonably well, you don't have to display any toughness with them. It's not required.
Well, what I have seen various occasion personally is the wittiness which is used in your various conversation, whether it's with supply chain people or with employees. And probably I think people have started getting better in understanding your language as everyone keeps calling in your organization. Um, but sir, even in all of this, there will be something which irritates TCS sir also a lot. Or probably there could be something specifically which gets better of you. So what would be that one thing which irritates you the most at work?
Well, if I don't understand that, it irritates me. If I don't understand something in the process, not able to comprehend, that irritates me. So that's how you chase and try to learn. We don't know everything. Every day you find something is missing and you have not understood something. What you have not understood, you should try to learn. That's what I try to do.
Well, you should learn, and you're definitely learning, and you're making everyone learn a lot along with you. So, sir, what I also understand is that your better half, ma'am, she's a retired lecturer. Um, is
Yes.
retirement something that you're thinking at any time, or it's a wishful thinking for now?
Hmm. To the extent possible, I want to work as long as mind and body and the company permits.
Right. Well, the company will keep permitting, and your mind obviously is sharpening every day. I think it'll be foolish to believe it any other way, for sure, on that part. So you are also someone who spent a lot of time in the factory in the initial days. Um, is it also that you're now trying to cover that up in spending time with the family as well now? Because what I understand is a lot of part initially was spent in building all these verticals, but are you trying to make up for all the lost time with the family?
It's too late. There's nothing like, when you don't spend time with your kids, and when you want to spend time with them, they are already grown up. Now they don't have the time. So something, if it is gone, it's gone forever. There's nothing like making up.
There's nothing like making up. But will that be one of your, in a way, regrets where if you talk about where you will say you miss out on a good part on the personal front over the years?
Not really, not really. I was quite involved wherever I was working. So the rest of the things don't come to my mind.
Well, workaholic is the word which comes to me directly for you. And probably, I don't think anyone in the family, at least for sure, will agree any other way on that part with you. So, what I understand also is, at least you're right, probably the time which is gone can't come back. But I understand you have beautiful granddaughters, and you're trying to spend a lot of time with them whenever they are here in India, in Hyderabad with you. So, is at least that's the time when you probably try and prioritize spending time with them over work at
That's right.
times?
That's right. What I could not do with my children, I'm doing with my granddaughters. I like playing with them. Once in a year, they are in India, or I go to America. So that's the time I really relax with the children, with my grandchildren.
Well, I wonder whether the wittiness continues for the grandchildren as well. Well, we'll have to see that actually for ourselves to believe how that works. Uh, what I also understand, sir, is that this entire lockdown hasn't been the easiest for you as well. Um, your better half, ma'am, happened to be with your daughter in US, and then entire lockdown happened. If you can just share what exactly how did it transpired and what exactly is the situation even right now for you?
My second granddaughter was born in March, and my wife went there to help my daughter, and that's how she got stuck in US, and now not able to come back. Probably in another month's time, I think she should be back. I'm hoping.
Wow, that would have been tough. So the entire lockdown spent alone, all by yourself. Well, I'm assuming
Yes.
you would have learned a lot of new skills at personal front as well, cooking and other things, getting the house
Yeah,
ready.
that's right. I learned a little bit of cooking. At least I can survive. I can do something for myself and then eat reasonable quality and reasonable taste. So I'm able to survive. This is a new skill I have acquired during this lockdown.
New skill acquired during the lockdown. Well, so then how you been managing your lunches and the dinners and other things? Because if I understand it correctly, you're a healthy eater as well. So people being nice to you and managing and doing things to your taste buds.
A large-hearted neighbor helps me. They give me food every day. So that's been going on. In the process, a couple of days, I also try to do some cooking. But most of the time, my neighbor has been helping me.
And when sir is not cooking or learning new dish, what was he up to during the lockdown? Was it a lot about the new Telugu movies and other things also happening at the same time for you?
Oh, dozens of them. Not just Telugu, whatever movie was there on the TV, whether I like it or not, I spent all my time on the TV.
Lot of time spent on television and watching various movies. Uh,
Yeah.
Probably, I'm assuming a lot of time was also spent on a lot of WhatsApp video calls and audio calls back in US at the same time with ma'am and other people with the family.
Yeah, video call is once a day in the evening, every day. But the rest of all the rest of the time from morning to evening, you have to spend with TV or, doing some walking or some exercise, whatever physical exercise that was possible. I tried doing all this.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned about physical exercise because one thing which I've noticed, and probably all the people who know you a little better, is that over the years, Chandra Sekhar sir hasn't changed much. It seems like you're one of those who keeps a tab on his weight, like keeps a check every day. If there is a 200 gram of weight increase, probably let me go back into my exercise mode and then ensure that my weight stays the way it has been over the years.
No, I don't do such a fine tuning, but I keep my weight under control. I walk fairly fast for about half an hour to 40 minutes every day, do some exercise. That's enough. And I know I should not eat more, so I eat in a limited quantity. And my weight has been constant for last several years.
Yes, as I said, we haven't changed an iota of change in that physical appearance of yours. You mentioned about the morning walks. Will it be apt to say the morning walks is actually your time with yourself? Is that kind of an introspection time which you spend with yourself also?
No introspection. I concentrate on my walking and I walk fast. Maybe faster than many young people.
Well, I'm sure on that part. And it seems you're one of those who likes to not complicate things with various aspects. Do what one is doing, avoid multitasking at the same time, and focus and be good at that single thing that you're doing at that time. Um, what I also understand, sir, is that during your initial days, during your college days, and when you're much younger, um, you had a lot of other hobbies as well. Violin being one of them. Was it to impress your girlfriend at that time or impress girls at that time? Because that's considered to be quite a sexy
No,
instrument at the same
no.
time.
I started it not in the college, but when I was in school. When I was in the 8th class, I started learning violin, Carnatic music. So this is just out of interest. And then I continued for quite a long time. And in engineering college, I learned photography. We started a photography club in the engineering college, and I was the secretary there. We have conducted an All India photography exhibition also when I was there in the college. So photography and music, they were my time pass.
Right. But violin, did you manage to impress a lot of girls with your violin skills as well during your initial days?
I think in engineering college, it was not possible. There were hardly any girls, maybe just a couple of them.
Right.
There is a lot of competition.
There is a lot of competition, no doubt on that part. But is it still something which you pursue at times? Once in a while, picking up that violin and playing something, playing some tune there? Does that happen?
No, it's not been happening in the last 10, 15 years. Not much of time to spend on my violin. But maybe after I retire, I'll try once again my hand.
Well, I don't know when you're going to retire, and I hope that doesn't happen anytime soon, because the way you're going strong, you definitely can make a lot of people younger than you run for the money. But that probably will be my last question to you is, what is it that's keeping PCS sir going? What's the hunger for him which makes him keep excited to come back to office every day? I understand you don't like to take off days as well. So what is it that
Yes.
keeps you going?
Idling is something which I don't like. If I sit at home, there's nothing you do. So if you want to be fit, I think it's not just the body, the mind also needs to be active. And that's what I try to do. Probably that's the one which brings me to the office every day.
Well, as I mentioned earlier, the restless guy, and probably that would be the right thing to associate you with.
If you notice the the overall industry, what we have achieved is very small. There are many good players in the market. We still have to learn a lot of things in terms of technology, in terms of design, in terms of giving a better product ultimately to the customer. So we don't think that we have achieved something very big. There are many people from whom we have to learn. Maybe younger, much younger people, smaller companies. There are many people who are talented, who are doing a great job. So I always think that we learn from them and see if you can improve a little more. That's how I look at it.
Well, that's your modesty and humility, which is unparalleled, I would say, probably among a lot of people that I have met across in my life and the experience that I have got till now. Well, sir, with this, I'd like to thank you so much for being on the show, sharing your story, and letting the personal side out a little more for everyone else to see that. So thank you for being on the show, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Karan.
Thank you. And for all of you out there, well, one thing which I can say for sure is There's his humility, his modesty, and he doesn't take himself very seriously. And probably that's the best part. He let his humor do all the talking in various ways. And probably that's what's keeping him going and people around him. And it makes it easier to work with him and around him. And having him as a senior boss, as his people keep calling him. Well, I hope you had a great time listening to his story. Until next time, when we have one more interesting person from our fraternity and hearing his story at the same time. Till then, Khuda Hafiz, take care, Alvida, and take care of all your loved ones. Thank you. Thank you so much.